Whose prayers does God hear? Well, you could argue that God hears everyone's prayers. In fact, if we were all saved, then he would just hear all of our prayers all the time. But in order for us to be saved, we have to pray in order to accept Jesus. Now, you can accept Jesus without saying a sinner's prayer, but essentially it comes down to praying to God and asking to be forgiven. So God hears everyone's prayers. However, God doesn't necessarily answer everyone's prayers. So when we look at does he hear them? Yes, he hears everyone's prayers. But does he listen? That might be a different story. You see, I can hear my wife speaking if I'm, say, on my phone, but that doesn't mean I'm listening. I can hear the words, I can hear what she says, and maybe even repeat it back, but that doesn't mean I'm listening. Listening is deeper than hearing. So God hears everyone's prayers, but does he act or does he listen might be a different story. So I've got some verses for you, and this may not be the most popular take, and some people may not like this, but ultimately, God hears those who are humble and repent. So we look at John 9:31. We know that God does not listen to sinners. He listens to the godly person who does his will. Again, God might hear everyone's prayers, but that doesn't mean he's actually listening to those prayers. So, you can hear a lot of people saying a lot of things, but if people are, let's say that people are just praying to God because it's convenient for them, or maybe they're just praying because they, think that they have to, but they don't genuinely mean what they're praying for. They're just praying as like a lip service, right? So God might hear those prayers, but he's not actually listening because their heart is in the wrong place. A lot of it comes down to heart posture. Are we humble and are we repentant before the Lord? Like, are we asking for him to genuinely move? And are the things that we're praying about according to his will? So here's another verse, Psalm 34:17. The righteous cry out, and the Lord hears them. He delivers them from all their troubles. Again, the righteous. So the people who are actively seeking God and actively asking for him to move on their behalf because they love him. So again, it's not this thing of we're just praying because it's convenient or because it's something that we want for ourselves. We're praying because we're genuinely asking God to move in a situation that is in alignment to his will. All right, here's the last verse that I have for you. 1 Peter 3:12. For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil. So ultimately, whose prayers does God hear? Well, he technically hears everyone's prayers. But does he actually listen or move in everyone's prayers? No. Uh, it really comes down to your heart posture. Are you really committing yourself and commending your spirit to God? Are you really humbling yourself and asking God to move in a situation that would be according to his will? Or are you just praying because you want something for yourself or just to say that you prayed? And then if it doesn't come true, now you have an excuse. Well, God didn't hear me, right? So God hears everyone, but he really only listens and moves for those that he chooses to move in the situations of. So that's about it. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.